In January of 1978, a man went to a Florida State University sorority party. Everyone thought he was a fun and kind individual. That wasn't until the next morning when 2 sorority sisters were found murdered in their bedrooms and 3 sorority sisters were found brutally injured. It was in July of 1979 when Theodore Bundy was convicted and sentenced to death row for the murders of Lisa Levy and Margaret Bowman. The 2 sorority sisters, says CBS News, April 11, 2020. The confession of these 2 murders soon led to the admittance of the kidnapping, raping, and killing of over 30 different women. My name is Alexandra Rogers, and today I will be discussing with you how Ted Bundy was mentally ill, murdered multiple women, and got away with it for so long. To start, Ted was not mentally well. He was known as a psychopath. This is described by Psychology Today, December 30th, 2019, as someone who lacked interpersonal empathy and was unable to feel guilt or remorse. Bundy never truly confessed to these murders. He thought he was innocent, so he told everyone he was. This was not until Stephen Michaud interviewed him and he revealed everything to him. Now, while Bundy always said that he was innocent, he did tell Michaud that he knew the man that confessed to these murders, and he told him in full detail what had happened to these women. He was not self-aware via why he was speaking in third person about himself. It was almost as if Ted Bundy was in an arrested development of mind. Michaud reported that in his interview, he had to speak to Bundy like he was a 12-year-old to get the information needed for the report. Branching off of this mental illness, he also had paranoia and narcissism. When Bundy was in court, the paranoia made him believe that his attorneys were actually plotting against him, and the narcissism drove him to argue against his attorneys in court. People paid to defend him. Next, Bundy lured women into his sadistic trap. He chose to attack only white, Republican, wealthy, co-ed college women. That was his type, his preference, and his target, because he felt they were most like him. Therefore, he felt that he could take ownership over them. Bundy even said in his interview with Michaud that he viewed women as merchandise. He lured these women in through 3 different tactics, the first being authority. For example, he would dress up as a cop or officer, walk into a public place, find a woman that fit his description, tell her that her car was being robbed and she needed to identify her car. He would then take her out of the public place, seclude her, and then she would never be seen again. The second tactic is helplessness. Ted Bundy, having an intriguation with a lot of college women, would dress up as a timid, shy young man who needed help carrying his books. These females would then feel bad for him, offer to help carry his books, and he would say that his car was over the hill in a desolate area. Then these women would never be seen again. The third tactic used was assistance. Ted Bundy would dress up as something like a fireman, go into a public place once more, find a woman that fit his description, tell her that her car is on fire and that she needed to identify her car, and then take her out and then seclude her and kill her. All 3 of these tactics have the same thing in common. Ted Bundy wanted dominance over these women. According to CBS News, December 30th, 2020, Bundy used these tactics all the way from California to Florida, with 5 different states in between. Lastly, Bundy was found innocent for years on end. Due to the fact that he believed he was innocent, it was very easy for him to tell other people that he was innocent. Bundy was a white Republican male who looked like anybody else. He used his common personality to help him fly under the radar, and he used the social norms of that time to cover up his true identity. As a psychopath, he wanted to seem like a good and mild guy so that no friend or acquaintance would ever suspect that it was him in these murders. Next, the term serial killer was not even coined yet. People didn't go on killing sprees. If there were murders in these small towns, it was mainly because the people knew each other, for starters, and secondly, there had to be some sort of tension in between. This is why Ted Bundy slid through the cracks. He killed random women that just fit his description. He had no other motive other than domination. He defied the social laws that were put in place so nobody would even wonder that he was connected to these murders. I have just discussed with you how Ted Bundy was mentally ill, how he lured in his victims, and how he was found innocent for years on end. It really does make you more aware of your surroundings and be more careful. The trial of these women against this man make you realize that it could be any family member or loved one in this position, so that caution is always needed. It really makes you ask the question, how careful am I around strangers?